Hey guys, it's Michael with Mealy Marine, and in today's video, we're going to be doing some testing, trying to figure out if we know anything about fiberglassing, or do we make a ginormous mistake in deciding to extend the front deck of this boat. So guys, without further ado, let's get into it. All right, guys, so I just did a little test piece here, just made a little jig where we have a 90 degree here and a 90 degree going up. And the reason why I wanted to do that was to just see how glass lays up. I've never laid glass before, so I just kind of wanted to see how it worked before we get into the boat and having a bigger project. So first thing is, from my understanding, glass does not do well on hard 90 degrees. So I radiused these corners by hand, and then in here I took our West Systems 105 epoxy and I put some, this is just stone coat countertop thickener. I believe this is silica, and I just put a very little amount in, and I made like a paste that would not drip off of my little stick. And I put it in there, and I used this guy, and I cut a little radius, and I just dragged it. So now I have a radius in that corner. On this side, I used E-glass. So E-glass is basically chop strand matting without a binder, and it tears really easy. And like I said, this works with epoxy. We're going to be using epoxy in this. And I know, I know people are going to comment, it's going to be a lot more expensive. I know, but it's kind of the path we've taken. So I did that, laid it in here. And then on this side, I used 1708, which you guys have already seen this, but just in case, it's a bidirectional with a chop strand on the back. This is a lot thicker. This is more structural. This is more cosmetic. So usually what you would do is you would lay 17008 as your first couple layers, and then finish up with E-glass or chop strand matting, so it's easier to sand. So yeah, that's basically it. Just try not to use a bunch of epoxy, because I learned from this little test piece here, I had way more epoxy. You can see it right here than I do glass, but this is very strong. So we're just gonna see, I used the little roller, try to flatten it out. This corner, or this edge, has been the most difficult. The glass wants to pop up like that. So I had to use a little bit more epoxy to hold it down. I did pre-coat this with epoxy, and so I like wet on wet, I guess is what it is. And yeah, so we're gonna let this dry up. Hugh asked me a question, is this going to make it stronger? I think this side will be stronger than this side, but I'm not really sure. We're going to see. I just wanted to see how it worked. Can I rip this stuff out? We'll see. So we'll check back tomorrow at some point in time.
think I've been away from Michael for like 10 days, so he's totally out of control, but we'll get him whipped back into shape.
What's he talking about?
Let's kind of review where we're at. Obviously, before this video comes out, you should see the video of us doing this mock-up here. The mock-up requires us to do some fixing because Michael figured out we're off, and we're off. Doesn't really matter why we're off, but we're off. So we're going to fix that today. But before we get too far into that, we've been doing some testing here at the Mealy Marine R&D department. So Michael's been testing it. This is really strong, where he epoxied this to this, and this is one sheet of the chop strand and one sheet of the 1708. And man, let me tell you, you got to watch it because he didn't clean his edges up, but this is pretty strong. This here, as you smart guys going to figure out, this is our lip for our locker top. This is going to end up being this, because each time we do something here at Mealy Marine, the idea is to get better. And as you know, in the past, our lockers, I don't think you can really call them lockers because you can't really seal them up. This one will be able to seal up, but the way we've had to do it in the past, customer boats, the lids have not been totally, and the unit has not been totally waterproof. So let's not go there.
Don't even go there, man.
It's just part of the build and the part of the way that we chose to do it. On this build, we're going to try to make them as water resistant as possible, because I don't believe any locker can totally be waterproof. Maybe the day after it leaves the dealership. So the idea behind this, we've epoxied this on here. We've already learned one thing. The one thing we've already learned is we've got to be careful how we cut these radiuses in the corner. This is not the way to go. So we're going to let this dry up, and the other purpose of this is to figure out how we're going to lay the glass around here and around the corners. We'll let this set up, and whilst this is setting it up, we'll make some decisions, and then we'll kind of clue you in on what we're doing, and then we'll let you know if it works or if it doesn't work, or what we need to do to improve. So today we are playing around with fiberglass, and we are going to mock up our test piece. And anyway, so we're going to be laying these chop strand pieces here. Michael can tell you what they are because I never get it right. So which one is this?
E-glass.
E-glass. So we're going to be laying some e-glass down, and we're going to be getting a feel for it. We will be covered in epoxy and stuff here within about 30 minutes. And then what we're going to do is we're putting the chop strand down, and then we're going to put 1708 on top of it, and we're kind of getting a feel for how much we have to put down. So we already know this is 1/2 inch, so we're going to lay one chop strand, one 1708, get an idea of how thick we are, and then decide if we need to add another chop strand, another 1708. We'll kind of decide how that goes. We want to be about 200 on our thickness here. So we're going to give it a try and see how it goes, and might have to do another one of these. So we'll see. Anyway, let's get going. So we've been doing some experimenting to see if this will work. This is our mock-up of our lid, and you'll notice it was originally foam with that plastic strip attached to it, and then we glassed it. We've got some practicing to do on our glassing. I've got to be honest with everybody. Everybody else on the videos make it look pretty easy, but we need to obviously work on that side of it. But what I wanted to show you on this is literally just this pink material with 1708 on both sides and some chop strand. And this thing is unbelievably, I mean, you cannot move it at all. So we're pretty happy about that. The one problem we have is the radius areas, and we have to go with a lighter chop strand, 3/4 ounce, to get the radiuses in the corner. And we will be making those changes. So I was very happy with the way this turned out, but we need to work on the laying of the glass, I guess is the best way to put it.
Well, that's it for this week's video, guys. I hope you liked it. If you did, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share. It would really mean a lot to us if you guys shared these videos. And be sure to check back next week where we finish up working on the front deck and getting that all ready for us to start doing the glass. So, until next time, guys.